father-in-law Kaido's monster cells create the strongest beasts. 31. Depress Jack the Drill. Add Momotaro rice balls, a magical prop from the world of Doraemon. Liu Xing successfully developed it with the help of the great Inventor system and through the research on dango fruit. To tame beasts. Peggy 1 looked confused. They are all beasts, but the concubine doesn't need to be tamed at all. Who would dare not listen to the concubine now? Even if it is 3 disasters, you have to listen to the dispatch of the concubine. Liu Xing explained, it's not for you, it's for the fur tribe. Xiao Pei, you immediately go and gather the other Flu Bao, and then select 50 soldiers for the Empowered Legion, and gather at Wonokuni Port in an hour. Peggy 1's eyes burst out with excitement, and said excitedly, is the concubine going to attack the fur tribe's country? Zoot. Well, I'll go and assemble the staff immediately. Peggy 1, who trotted away, was gearing up. After all, he has been practicing hard for so many days, and the combat power value has risen from 5,000 to 6,000, and his hands have long been itchy. An hour passed quickly. Wonokuni Port. 6 people including Fuzifu, Runty, Black Maria, and Pijawan gathered there. Behind him, there are 50 warriors of the Giver who are ready to go. Each of them is zone capable, and they all eat monster cells. Just standing there, the ferocious aura that naturally exudes from his body is enough to suffocate ordinary people. Liu Xing nodded in satisfaction. Add, don't look at the number of people, less than 60. But every one of these people is put into the sea, and the bounty is at least hundreds of millions of Baileys. Flu Bao, whose strength has reached the level of the 3 disasters, may have a reward of more than 1 billion Baileys. Such terrifying forces can basically wipe out any country in the New World except the 4 Emperors Regiment. Set off. Liu Xing gave an order, and the huge warship with this terrifying force moved forward in a mighty manner towards Zhua. Prince Consort has won. The little ones are waiting for the concubine to come back and hold a banquet. On the shore of the port, thousands of members of the Beast Group cheered and sent Liu Xing off. To some extent, Liu Xing's prestige in the 100 Beasts is almost no longer under his father-in-law Kaido. Even Yamato can't compare to Liu Xing in this regard. It was not until the warship disappeared on the horizon that no shadow could be seen at all. The members of the 100 Beasts gradually left. Soon, there was only one person left on the huge shore. Look at the man's height of 7 or 8 meters, thick limbs, iron mask, long ivory, and Jack the Drow, one of the 3 disasters. Logically, with the status and qualifications of the 3 disasters, there is no need to come here to send Liu Xing. But Quinn and Jin didn't come. But Jack not only came, he didn't leave until now. Has his admiration for Liu Xing reached this level? Of course not. Jack was depressed, or rather angry. This kind of depression and anger started as early as when Peggy 1 ate the monster cells and could fight on an equal footing with him. Then, add Fuzzy Fu and other Flu Bao at high-level monster cells, and the fruit ability of the ancient species has evolved into the phantom species. You know, his Jack is only an ancient species. In terms of real combat power, Fuzz Fu and the others who have reached the level of humans are undoubtedly stronger than Jack. Among the 3 disasters, it is estimated that only Jin from the Lunaria clan can overwhelm Flu Bao. Jack, who has always been proud of his strength, how could he not be so depressed? To this end, he even surreptitiously went to Liu Xing several times, begging for a freak cell. But the concubine told him that it was not yet time for him to eat monster cells. Jack reluctantly returned. Immediately, something even more depressing happened to Jack. The concubine rectified Wonokuni, only brought Quinn, but did not call him Jack. This time I went to attack Zoot, but I didn't ask him to come with me. What does this mean? It was clearly that Jack the Drow took the lead in charging like this before. So Jack was angry and depressed. He felt that he was less and less valued in the 100 Beasts, and he felt a great sense of crisis. Maybe one day, the position of the big Kanban will not be guaranteed. Never allow something much like that to happen. Jack clenched his fists tightly and roared in his heart. I want to prove my strength and prove my worth. Jack made up his mind. Turn around and run to the Island of Ghosts. Add, Boss Kaido, let me go to sea. Jack ran straight to Kaido Palace and shouted. Kaido, who drank dozens of pounds of wine, squinted his drunken eyes and burped. It turned out to be Jack. Why are you going out to sea? Do you want to go to Zhua? Son-in-law and the others have already left. Boss Kaido, I'm not going to Zhua, but to hijack the heavenly gold. Jack said very seriously. Master Consort will definitely bring back a large number of tamed fur tribe warriors by attacking and destroying Zhua this time. By then, our funds will probably be tight again. So, Boss Kaido, please let me solve this problem. Kaido was surprised when he heard it. Jack, whose brain was full of muscles, actually learned to plan ahead. Yes, the drought he chose has grown. Kaido shook his head, sobered up and said with a smile, Jack, you have made a lot of progress. Okay, I'll let you go out and loot this time. But you have to be careful. We have already robbed the gold twice. Maureen will probably send more troops. Jack is overjoyed. Boss Kaido is waiting for my good news. After all, I couldn't wait to leave. As for the reminder after Kaido, Jack didn't take it to heart at all. It's just a mere navy, Even if the number is larger, what is it? He is a dignified Uncle Jack the Drill. Jack doesn't know. Marines troops guarding Tamshangjin didn't increase too much. Only one more person, a man with big flower arms named Seikeizuki, 32. Sweep Zu. Add. When Liu Xing killed Denjiro, he got the route map to Zu from him. Therefore, Liu Xing and his party didn't spend much time. At noon the next day, he arrived at the feet of the elephant. Good big elephant. Runty opened her mouth exaggeratedly and exclaimed. Fuzzy Fu and other Flu Bao were also smacking their tongues. Jack the Drow's mammoth form, in front of this giant elephant, is just like a little bit. Everyone was shocked by the size of the elephant master, which exceeded 35,000 kilometers. Only Liu Xing smiled lightly. After all, this is an ancient giant elephant that has lived for more than 1,000 years, longer than the history of the world government. The crowd was even more amazed. Peggy One said with admiration, the concubine's knowledge is really profound. Liu Xing actually still has the inside story. This elephant was once a companion of that Joey boy, and only Eden's son Momonosuke seemed to be able to command it. If nothing else, the elephant master is destined to be the enemy of their beast group in the future. Although I don't have the ability to listen to the voice of all things, but with Momotaro rice balls, maybe I can try to conquer the elephant. After all, the elephant owner belongs to the category of animals, and Momotaro rice balls should be effective. After Liu Xing plans to get rid of the fur tribe, he will give it a try. At this time, Runty said again, it's as tall as the Lord, and Z is on its back. How do we go up? At a height of 35,000 kilometers, it towers into the clouds, and it is impossible to see the top at a glance. Of course you can climb the dumbest ladder, but that's a waste of time. Liu Xing was prepared for this, and glanced at the person next to him. Foz Fu, it's up to you. Once a CP9 spy, after eating the ghost-level monster cells, now the most powerful Fuzzy Fu is confident. Kaido, wrap it on me, consort. Then he saw Fuzzy Fu's legs forcefully and suddenly jumped into the air. Roar. Accompanied by a huge tiger roar, a saber-toothed tiger flapping its scarlet wings appeared out of thin air. The four sharp claws of the saber-toothed tiger grabbed the surrounding of the warship, and while waving its wings, it flew high into the sky with the warship. Peggy One was extremely envious. Yudmans are convenient. Liu Xing comforted. Xiao Pei, one day you can do it too. Peggy One looked moved. Soon, everyone went to the back of the elephant, and there was a lush forest. In the forest, there are countless hairy humanoids walking back and forth. Is that the fur tribe? It's a novel species. A loud bang. Liu Xing led Fliu Pao, and 50 soldiers of the Empowered Legion, King Landing's Yuan. The terrifying momentum immediately attracted the attention of all fur tribes. When they saw the Beast's pirates flag on the warship, their pupils dilated sharply. It's Kaido of the Beast's ship. Kaido's subordinates are here to attack Zu. Go and invite the two kings, Inuarashi and Cat Viper. It's too late. The people from the 100 Beasts have already attacked. Don't be afraid, there are only less than 60 of them, and everyone in our fur tribe is an elite warrior. The war started almost instantly. The fur soldiers, all baring their teeth and surging electric arcs on their claws, charged towards Liu Crossing. What a bunch of monkeys who don't know how to live or die. They want to be more brutal than our Beast's pirates. The saber-toothed tiger incarnated by Fuzz Fu, with bloodthirsty light flashing in his eyes. If it wasn't for the concubine's order, he would have rushed down and slaughtered to his heart's content. Liu Xing's voice said at this time, let's do it. Momotaro rice balls have already been distributed to you. Your purpose is to stuff the rice balls into the mouths of the fur tribesmen. Don't hurt their lives unless it is a last resort. As ordered. Pichawin and the others, who had been gearing up for a long time, rushed down the warship impatiently after giving orders respectfully. Although it can't kill people, it can move its muscles and bones to some extent. In an instant, the fierce shouting and killing pierced the sky. Although the number of people in the 100 Beast group is small, everyone can be 1 to 10, and Flu Bao can even be 1 to 100. Therefore, the 100 Beasts had an overwhelming advantage. Moreover, after they used Momotaro rice balls, the members of the fur tribe who had just been hostile turned their backs and became very obedient. This bizarre sight made Pedro, the head of the Knight's Corps, stunned, unable to believe his eyes. What exactly is going on? In a daze, a thunderous shout suddenly came from above. It's the reason for that weird rice ball. You can't eat that thing. Boom. Two huge figures suddenly fell. It was Inuarashi and Cat Viper who rushed over. That weird rice ball was also invented by you, and it was specially used to deal with our fur tribe. Liu Xing, the concubine of the beasts. Inulan and Cat Viper came up and looked at Liu Xing on the warship. Liu Xing crossed his arms and smiled. The answer is correct, but unfortunately there is no reward. Arsehole. Inuarashi gritted his teeth and shouted angrily, there is no news from Denjiro's side for so many days. Is it all your fault? Liu Xing didn't respond this time and was too lazy to answer. But this gesture, in the eyes of Inuarashi and Cat Viper, is already the default. The two became more and more angry, almost mad. Lozi is going to kill you. The two of them rushed straight to Liu Xing, ignoring the rest of the fur tribe. Hey, you two remnants of the Kazuki family. Didn't we fly 6 kingdoms exist? A fierce tiger and 2 giant dragons stopped in front of Inulan and Cat Viper. The tiger is Fuzifu, and the dragon is Runty and Peggy-1. Inuarashi and Cat Viper kept their bodies in shape, raised their swords, and said furiously, "If the 3 disasters are over, then Flubao will stop us." The cats and dogs are the longest subordinates with Kozuki-den. They have stayed on the ships of Whitebeard and Roger, and there is no doubt that they have the strength of the 3 disasters. It's just that their information is a bit backward, and they don't know that the strength of Flubao is now different from the past. Court death. The 3 Fuzzifs showed their despised anger and launched a fierce attack. Boom. The 2 sides collided. The next moment, a scene that made Pedro and other fur tribesmen feel extremely horrified appeared. The 2 strongest kings in their furry kingdom, Inulan and Cat Viper, were actually defeated by their opponents. They were knocked out with blood from their mouths, and fell to the ground hundreds of meters away. 33. Rabbit-eared girl Garrett. Inuarashi and Cat Viper coughed up blood, feeling like their bones were about to fall apart. The 2 climbed up from the big pit and looked at each other, seeing the disbelief in each other's eyes. How could the 3 Flubao on the opposite side be so strong? In the correspondence with Denjiro over the years, they have already inquired about the general strength of Kaido's subordinates. Inuarashi and Cat Viper recognize that they are on a par with the 3 disasters and can easily defeat Flubao. However, the collision just now completely shattered their past knowledge. Could it be that since the death of Lord Eden, they who have not done anything for more than 10 years have become weaker? No, it's not that we have become weaker, but the other party has become stronger, Inuarashi said firmly, pointing to Fuzzfu. Have you seen the wings behind that man? He is clearly a saber-toothed tiger. How could he have wings? Obviously, his fruit ability has evolved. In a previous letter from Denjiro, it was mentioned that the concubines of beasts have a kind of weird cell, which can greatly increase the strength of people. This should be the reason. Zu has no information on the outside world. Therefore, Inuarashi and Cat Viper did not know that the monster cells had already caused an uproar in the sea. Even a tiger-level monster cell has been fired to the sky-high price of 1 billion Bailey. However, through Denjiro's previous letter, they finally guessed the truth. And the truth makes them despair. Kitten and puppy, open your mouth and surrender to our beasts pirates. Fuzzfu, flapping his scarlet wings, looked down and sneered. Dream. Inuarashi and Cat Viper are both loyal lackeys of Kozuki-den, and it is almost impossible for them to surrender. The battle started again. Under the siege of Fuzifu, Runty, and Pijawan, Inuarashi and Cat Viper were seriously injured and in danger not long after. Don't you open your mouth? But the 2 of them were tough guys, clenching their teeth and eating Momotaro rice balls without opening their mouths, which made Fuzzfu quite annoyed. On the warship, Xing yawned and said in a flat voice, "Since you don't want to take the road to heaven, then send them to hell to be reunited with Kozuki-den." Wouldn't he be merciful just because he valued the strength of Inuarashi and Cat Viper, thinking he was a compassionate teacher guy? When Fuzzfu and the others heard the words, a murderous, bloodthirsty grin suddenly appeared on their faces. Unfortunately, the concubine does not have the patience of Kaido boss, so please die. Boom. Fuzzfu, Runty, and Pijawan used all their strength to tear the clouds in the sky apart with their fierce aura. Endless smoke and dust rose up, accompanied by the miserable roars of cats and dogs. It didn't take long for Inuarashi and Cat Viper to be on the verge of death, with only 1 breath left. They were lying on the ground, blank color in their eyes. Their lives are over. Denjiro must have died too. How is the safety of Miss Yuri? 20 years after Mrs. Shi's prediction, will it really happen? Don't lose hope, stinky cat. Inuarashi struggled, and shouted with all his strength, "We still have Momonosuke-sama, and one day, he will definitely avenge us." Cat Viper's eyes lit up, and he clenched his fists and said, "Yes, and Mr. Momonosuke, he is the son of Mr. Eden." Xing, who was originally bored, jumped off the warship when he heard this. "Come to Inuarashi and Cat Viper." With a very serious expression, he said, "You two, I can assure you that Marine can't fight. Momonosuke must die." Inulan and Cat Viper's eyes were splitting, and they desperately reached out to grab a crossing base. Cold light flashed. The 2 fell to the ground. Peggy-1, who took the shot, sneered, "Is the prince consort you 2 cats and dogs can touch?" After Inuarashi and Cat Viper were dead, the resistance of the entire fur tribe would be insignificant. After half a day, the war against Zu was over. The death toll of the fur tribe was kept below double digits, and the rest were tamed by Momotaro rice balls. Xing selected 300 of the strongest fur warriors and fed them monster cells. Roar! A terrible roar resounded through the sky. The strength of the 300 fur warriors instantly reached the same level as that of the Giver Legion. Then, Xing came to the elephant's mouth again, and fed the latter 10,000 Momotaro rice balls before finally being able to drive him. Xing gave the elephant lord an order to go to Wonokuni, and got on the warship to take the lead. The purpose of coming to Zu at this time is that the merits and virtues have been fulfilled. It not only eliminated the hidden dangers in the future, but also caused the strength of the 100 beasts to skyrocket again. Night. Liu Xing was lying on a deck chair on the deck of the warship. A slender figure came over, and the voice was thin, gentle and pleasant. "Master, please have some tea." Liu Xing glanced at him. The slender figure has snow-white hair, and the two rabbit ears on the top of the head are very cute. Liu Xing said gently, "Garrett, do you hate me?" Rabbit-eared girl Garrett had a surprised and frightened look on her face, and quickly said, "How can I hate my master?" For the fur tribesmen who eat Momotaro rice balls, Liu Xing is their master, and they must be absolutely obedient and loyal. "I killed your two kings, aren't you sad?" Garrett lowered his head. "It's a little sad, but who made them disobey the master's order? The master has already given them a chance." A satisfied smile appeared on Liu Xing's mouth. He reached out to take the tea in Garrett's hand, and drank it in one gulp. "Garrett, it happens to be a full moon tonight. Go and change into a moon lion for me to see." "Yes, master." Garrett looked up at the full moon in the sky. Her eyes gradually turned red. Her slender body became taller and taller, her rabbit tail became like a snowball, and her white hair fluttered like snowflakes. Her body exudes an ultimate cold temperament, like a fairy in the moon palace, which makes people dare to look from a distance rather than approach. Liu Xing stood up, stretched out his right hand, and touched Garrett's long rabbit ears. Garrett's body trembled slightly. "Master," Liu Xing said in an unquestionable voice, "keep this posture, let's go to the room to rest." 34. Give me the boat. Add. The body structure of the fur tribe is really very different from that of humans, especially in the moon lion state. The strength and flexibility of the waist is even more amazing. Like a spring, it can be bent into all kinds of incredible angles. Liu Xing had a deep understanding, and it was an eye-opener. Fortunately, his physical fitness was strong enough. After one day, the warship arrives at One Okini port. Father-in-law Kaido came to greet him in person. "Good son-in-law, are you not injured? You can do without the fur warriors. Your safety is the top priority." Liu Xing, who invented the monster cell and triple gravity training room, more than doubled the overall strength of the 100 beasts, and it's getting stronger all the time. Now Liu Xing's importance to the 100 beasts may even be greater than Kaido himself. However, Liu Xing didn't look too proud and smiled humbly. Lau's father-in-law is worried. With Fu Bao around, the son-in-law doesn't need to take action at all. Kaido laughed and agreed. Now Fu Bao's combat power is comparable to the three disasters. With their protection, unless the other four emperors take action personally, who can hurt Liu Xing? Kaido looked at the hundreds of elite fur warriors behind Liu Xing, each exuding an aura of ferocity like a beast. It can be seen from the breath that their strength is by no means inferior to that of the Giver Legion. Kaido became more and more happy, put his arms around Liu Xing's shoulders, and laughed. "Let's go. My father has prepared a grand banquet for you. Our grandfather will not go home if he is not drunk today." The grand banquet was attended by all the members of the 100 beasts. Father-in-law Kaido's, Yanji, Epidemic Quinn, etc. Everyone kept toasting Liu Crossing. Liu Xing was already half drunk, but suddenly remembered someone and asked strangely, "Why haven't I seen Jack?" "There's no reason for Jack the Drill not to attend such a big banquet." "Add Jack." Kaido smiled. "He has made a lot of progress." Knowing that you may be short of funds, he took the initiative to ask to go out and make money. Liu Xing was a little surprised. Jack was so naive, he could be taught by a child. "I didn't care much." The banquet continued until late at night. The drunk Liu Xing was supported by the little maid Garrett and headed to the general's mansion in the capital of flowers. The general's mansion, Yamato, who had received the news early, hurried out to welcome him. It is said that Xiabi wins the newly married, and the couple have not seen each other for a few days. It really feels like every 3 autumns. Liu Xing and Yamato hugged tightly. At his feet, there was another little guy who called out, "Big brother, I want to hug." "Hug." "It's not the little girl Ayu, who is it?" Liu Xing lifted Ayu to his shoulders, pinched the other's fleshy little face, and said with a smile, "Ayu, this time your glutinous rice dumplings have done a great job." Yamato watched with a smile, and suddenly noticed that there was another person behind Liu Crossing. With snow-white hair and a slender figure, she was actually a fur girl. Yamato's expression changed slightly, and he seemed to ask casually, "Husband, who is this?" "Oh, her name is Garrett. Because she made a small mistake, I will punish her to be my maid temporarily." Liu Xing pretended to be drunk and said casually. His eyes were quietly paying attention to Yamato's expression. Yamato seemed relieved and complained, "If you want a maid, the general's mansion is not without it. Why should you look for it from outside?" Liu Xing let out a ha-ha, stepped forward and hugged Yamato's slender waist, foolingly said, "Well, it's the same anyway. It's getting late, let's rest." Saying such words in front of everyone's eyes made Yamato blushed and spat. "Bad man." "Add." Liu Xing waved his hand to let Garrett, Ayu and others go out, and carried his wife Yamato into the room. "It seems that there is no strange surface, but there is a headache in my heart." Just now, he was actually using Garrett to test whether Yamato cared that he had other women. Although Liu Xing had expected the result of the test, Yamato's appearance that even Garrett's little maid was extremely jealous made him sigh deeply. It seems that the matter of Xiaozi must never be known to his wife Yamato. New World. Somewhere in a wide sea, a luxurious marine warship is sailing slowly. The warship is heavily guarded, surrounded by marines. On the deck, dozens of sailors stood with guns. With such a force, I don't know if Marine was going to exterminate some big pirates. However, the mission of this warship is much more important than destroying pirates, because it is loaded with gold from several countries, dedicated to the world noble celestial dragons. In the sea several miles away from the warship, there is another ship. Look at the skull flag flying on the mast. It is actually a pirate ship of the Beast Group. Mr. Jack, a little guy with a telescope, suddenly jumped down from the observation deck in a panic. Jack the Drill's sturdy body stood on the deck like a hill, and he shouted in a gloomy voice, "What are you panicking? Are Marines troops large?" The little one shuddered. "No. Not many, only a few dozen people." "Dozens of people are so panicked. What do you look like?" Jack cursed angrily. The little girl cried and said aggrievedly, "I'm not afraid of the dozens of sea soldiers, but there is a person on it, it seems." "Yes, who is it?" "Looks like Marine Admiral Akainu." "What?" Jack's eyes widened suddenly. His subordinates even dropped their jaws, panicked, and shouted. "Has Marine gone mad, to actually send the most powerful admiral to protect Heavenly Gold?" "The one sent is still Admiral Akainu. That guy is a lava fruit capable, and if you touch it, you will die." "Let's go, let's not rob this time. It's too dangerous to face Akainu." Hearing the fearful and flinching voice in his ear, Jack's eyes widened, and there were faint blood stains on them. His fists were clenched tightly, and he suddenly let out an angry roar. "What are you afraid of?" "Who is Lozy?" "This uncle is Jack the Drill." "Leave me the boat." 35. Sad Jack, System Upgrade LV4, seeking a monthly ticket for flowers. Lord Jack, that's Marine Admiral Akainu. The subordinates hurriedly persuaded, compared to Marine's other two admirals, Akainu is the most aggressive. "We will die." Jack stared at him with a pair of bull's eyes. His face under the iron mask showed a gloomy murderous aura, and said coldly, "You bastards, are you looking down on Uncle Ben?" "Uncle, I say it again, quickly put the boat on Lozy." Jack is angry. What did he come out for this time? It's not that he wants to make a big ticket. Let the boss of Kaido and the concubine Liu Xing admire him. If he just went back in a dreadful way, not to mention the two big brothers Jin and Quinn would severely blame him. Let's just say that those Flubao who ate monster cells would definitely look down on him in their hearts. Jack couldn't stand such humiliation even if he died. So, even the most terrifying Akainu in the Marine Admiral, he has to meet him. The little ones can't beat Jack. If you continue to persuade them, maybe without Akainu's action, Lord Jack will destroy them. Helpless, had no choice but to drive the ship in the direction of the marine warship. Soon, the two ships reached a distance visible to the naked eye. On the marine warship, the sailors shouted, "Alarm alert! Pirate ship found." "Pirate ship found? Which pirate ship is that?" asked a Marine Vice Admiral. "It's the Beast's pirates who have robbed the gold twice." The dozens of sailors on the warship suddenly changed color. Beast's pirates is here to grab gold again. Are they addicted to grabbing? Don't panic. The Marine Vice Admiral said calmly. "We have Seikazuki Admiral in charge this time." As soon as his voice fell, a tall red figure came from behind. The moment they saw the red figure, all the Marines, including the Vice Admiral, stood up and saluted. "See your Excellency Admiral." Akainu glanced over the faces of the sailors and said in a heavy tone, "Put up your chests. How can you show fear when you hear the name of a pirate as a sailor? If we Marines are all afraid of pirates, who will safeguard the justice of this world?" All the sailors showed expressions of shame and awe. Akainu believes in absolute justice and acts ruthlessly. Even in Marines camp, there are not a few people who are afraid of him. "Open your eyes and show me." Akainu walked to the edge of the deck and raised his right fist towards the approaching Jack pirate ship. "Treat pirates so ruthlessly." Boom. Akainu's entire right arm turned into fiery lava, and it kept getting bigger and bigger with the swing of his fist, until it becomes a giant lava fist with a length of tens of meters. The sailors looked shocked. The pirates are heartbroken. No one thought that Akainu attacked without even asking a word. Up is a move. Great eruption. Jack's pupils contracted sharply, and he also didn't expect things to develop like this. According to his idea, the two ships meet, and he jumps on the marine warship and fights Akainu hand to hand. However, Akainu didn't give him this chance at all. Boom. The huge lava fist fell from the sky, and in Jack's unwilling eyes, it smashed his ship with one punch. Jack was blown away by the violent impact, and even the iron mask was cracked, revealing a mouthful of sharp teeth. Plop plop. The pirates of the 100 Beasts fell into the sea one by one. Jack sank to the bottom of the sea, but as the demon fruit power, he did not drown. Just because of his race, it's a Murloc. "Who can help me?" Jack lay helplessly on the bottom of the sea, his bull's eyes still staring. Compared with the tragic Jack the Drow, Liu Xing's life is a bit happier than a fairy. There is the most beautiful general in the family, a little maid, rabbit-eared Niang, and a canary outside. The only regret is that the three girls cannot be brought together. This day, Liu Xing spent a day and a night, After finally satisfying his wife Yamato, he stayed in the room alone. Open the system panel. Host, Liu Xing. Points, 100,000. System level, LV3, 1/1000th. Unlocked props, ghost level monster cells, triple gravity training room, primary time room, Momotaro rice ball. Props to be unlocked, fairy beans, fit earrings, system mall, any door, time machine, Ryujin Jaka. Liu Xing's system points finally rose to 100,000 through the triple gravity training room he made and the monster cells sold to aunties and fed to the fur tribe. It's time to get the system level up to LV4. Liu Xing didn't have any reluctance, and directly used up 100,000 points to check the system panel again. Host, Liu Xing. Points, 0. System level, LV4, 15,000. Unlocked props, ghost level monster cells, fairy beans, fit earrings. Items to be unlocked, dragon level monster cells. System mall, any door, time machine, Ryujin Jaka. Is it possible to make dragon level monster cells at the next level? Liu Xing's eyes lit up. He had great expectations for the effects of dragon level monster cells. He is very curious, after the 3 disasters eat the dragon level monster cells, can the strength reach the 4 emperors level? If it can be achieved, the 100 beast group will be able to have 4 emperors level powerhouses in an instant. Among them, the father-in-law Kaido is still the strongest creature. This combat power, even compared with Marine headquarters, is not much inferior. It seems that I have to retreat in the laboratory for a while, and strive to make fairy bins and fit earrings as soon as possible. These 2 kinds of props, to a certain extent, are not weaker than dragon-level monster cells. Especially the fitting earrings, which can make 2 people fit together, and the upper limit is very high. By the way, if the father-in-law Kaido and the 4 emperors aren't fused together, will they be invincible in an instant? If the 2 of them fuse together, the picture must be beautiful. Liu Xing imagined that Aunt Kaido would fit together, with 2 dragon horns on her head and a dark thunder cloud on her feet, shouting life dead to the world, and he couldn't help laughing out loud. Throwing away these absurd thoughts, Liu Xing stood up. Before entering the laboratory, he planned to meet Xiaozi. It's been so long, even if he was tossed a lot last time, Xiaozi should recover. 36. Liu Xing reveals Conquerors and controls Yanmo, seeking flower tickets. All the way to the other courtyard where Xiaozi lives. The 2 maids, who were arranged by Liu Xing to protect Xiaozi 24 hours a day, bowed and said, "See the concubine." Liu Xing got them up and asked, "Is Xiaozi okay?" The 2 maids looked at each other and said with a smile, "The concubine is very brave, and Miss Z didn't recover until the next day." A trace of guilt rose in Liu Xing's heart. He was indeed a little too rude that day. Liu Xing dismissed the 2 maids, tidied up his appearance, and showed a faint smile on his face, so that he would not appear too majestic. Then knock on the door. Beep tilde. No answer. Liu Xing raised his eyebrows, and the smile on his face disappeared. Did Xiaozi escape? Unlikely. With Xiaozi's strength, without the help of others, it is impossible to escape under the eyes of the 2 guards he arranged. And Wonokuni, after being rehabilitated by Liu Xing, no one will come to help Xiaozi. Well, just go in and see. Liu Xing was too lazy to think about it. He pushed the door and entered. Xing. A clear sword sound suddenly sounded, accompanied by a cold light. Liu Xing's dark eyes flashed quickly. "Go to hell, you devil." It was the voice of a woman who was extremely sad and angry. Liu Xing raised his foot subconsciously, intending to teleport away, but after thinking about it, he stayed where he was. Clang. The sound of gold and iron clashing. The sword didn't even pierce Liu Xing's clothes. "You really want to kill me?" Liu Xing stared blankly at Xiaozi in front of him. The first beauty of Wonokuni, her eyes are full of hatred at this time. "You are a devil. Everyone gets it and kills it." Liu Xing's tone didn't change. "Then why didn't you assassinate me last time when I came here?" Xiaozi's eyes flashed with panic for a moment, and then she clenched her silver teeth and said bitterly, "It's never too late to assassinate a wicked person like you." "Yes." Liu Xing smiled. "Then I will grant your wish." Liu Xing took the initiative to remove the armament haki attached to the clothes. The tip of the sword penetrated Liu Xing's clothes, and a drop of blood seeped out. "What?" Xiaozi screamed in surprise. Her hand shook violently, and she threw the sword to the ground. "You are crazy. Aren't you going to kill me?" Liu Xing smiled playfully. "You." Xiaozi looked at the man in front of her angrily, her beautiful eyes revealing infinite complexity. "What is this man like?" Said to be kind-hearted, but he killed Denjiro without hesitation, and put her under house arrest here. And he did that to her last time. Let's be ruthless. He actually took the initiative to let her assassinate just now. Moreover, Xiaozi also heard that he overthrew all the evil government of Oki before, reenacted the law, and also bought dozens of boats of food from the outside world with his own pocket and distributed it to the people of Wonokuni. This man is so contradictory. It's different from everyone Xiaozi has come into contact with before. Liu Xing picked up the sword that Xiaozi threw to the ground. This is a very special knife. The blade is slender, the blade is 3-lobed, and the blade is extremely sharp. When Liu Xing held the handle of his knife, there was an inexplicable suction force, as if the knife was alive. This is your father Kozuki-den, the Inma he used to use, and it's really different. Xiaozi was very surprised, but Liu Xing recognized the origin of this knife at a glance. But she did not admit it, but said coldly, "None of your business. Reach out to get Yanmo back." Liu Xing turned the knife to his left hand, and his right hand took the opportunity to grab the jade hand that Xiaozi stretched out. "You, let me go." Xiaozi Qiao blushed and struggled hard. It's just that for Liu Xing, there is no big difference between her exertion and lack of exertion. Liu Xing said, "I just gave you the chance to kill me, but you didn't cherish it yourself. There will be no such good things in the future. In addition, I just happen to lack a handy weapon, and this Yanmo belongs to me." Xiaozi shouted loudly, "No, Yanmo was left to me by my father. You can't take it away. And even if you take it away, you can't drive it." Liu Xing smiled slightly. "Really?" Immediately, a strand of haki was sent to Yanmo. This strand of haki was like turning on a switch, and Yanmo suddenly turned into a bottomless pit and began to devour Liu Xing's haki continuously. Xiaozi froze in place. Does this man want to completely control Yanmo with one left hand? That's absolutely impossible. Yanmo, but the sword of hell, no one can completely control except his father. Haki passed by extremely fast, and was swallowed up in a short time. If things go on like this, even with Liu Xing's strength, he will be sucked dry sooner or later. Xiaozi couldn't help but said, "Hurry up and put down Yanmo." Liu Xing smiled at the beauty. "Are you worried about me?" Xiaozi turned her head angrily. "Who cares about you?" Liu Xing stopped looking at Xiaozi and began to concentrate on dealing with Yanmo. "This knife is really strange. No wonder it left a permanent scar on my father-in-law Kaido." Liu Xing took a deep breath and stared at Yanmo with his deep eyes. His expression was indifferent, and an aura that was not angry and self-mighty naturally rippled out. Next moment, Liu Xing's tongue burst into thunder, like a king ordering his subjects. "Stop for me!" Boom! Liu Xing's aura suddenly erupted, and the whole room shook. At the same time, there were traces of black lightning flowing in the air. Out of the corner of Xiaozi's eyes, she has been watching Liu crossing. Seeing this scene, her beautiful eyes widened and her red lips opened slightly. "This is no ordinary emission. This is Conqueror's haki that only my father has." Yes, Liu Xing's explosive momentum at the moment is exactly Conqueror's. Under the pressure of Conqueror's, Yanmo seemed to whine and finally stopped devouring. Xiaozi covered her red lips with her hands, her eyes filled with incredible light. This man really controlled Yanmo with only one left hand. 37. I can create something out of nothing. Seeking a flower ticket. Kozuki-den once used Tanyuyuzan and Yanmo, and used the Taoyuan 10 punches, which left Kaido with permanent scars. It is also the only scar on Liu Xing's cheap father-in-law so far. It is enough to prove how good these two knives are. Tanyuyuzan was left to Momonosuke by Kozuki-den, and Yanmo left it to Xiaozi. In the original, Xiaozi gave this knife to Zora in exchange for the Wonokuni national treasure Kashui on Zora. After Zora got Yanmo, he even caused a little threat to Kaido. Yanmo is indeed the sword that claims to be able to cut through hell. It can devour haki autonomously, and the more haki it devours, the stronger the power it exerts. Also, Yanmo has already ranked among the 21 great knives, but he is not yet a black knives. When it evolves to the level of the black sword, it will almost 100% enter the level of the supreme sword, and it will keep pace with Whitebeard's Kong Yunki, Hawkeye's Black Sword Knight, and Roger's Saber Ace. Liu Xing put the knife into the sheath, turned around and said to Xiaozi, "It seems that this knife is not so unruly." The surprise in Xiaozi's eyes has not faded, and she was speechless for a while. This man actually owns Conqueror's haki, which made Yamato choose to surrender. In the future, if she wants to escape the clutches of this man, it may never be possible. Liu Xing felt the smoothness of the beauty's jade hand, and approached the beauty sideways. Xiaozi suddenly panicked like a helpless little beast. Don't, stay away from me." Liu Xing's voice was gentle. "Canaries are appreciated." "You devil." Xiaozi's eyes were full of tears, and she was even more deeply afraid. Liu Xing was stunned for a moment, and immediately understood the source of Xiaozi's fear. It should be because he was too rude last time, which made Xiaozi have a psychological shadow. This is probably the reason why Xiaozi wanted to assassinate him this time. Liu Xing's tone became more and more gentle, smiled and said, "Don't worry, I will be gentle." Liu Xing is not gentle. When he left Xiaozi's room after half a day, there was still a strange look in his eyes. Shouldn't it be an M? Liu Xing thought strangely, suddenly stopped, and said to Xiaozi who was crying behind her back, "Next time I come, if you assassinate me again, I will stay in your room for an extra hour." You can clearly see Xiaozi's body trembling violently, revealing the pretty face of Pear Blossom and Rain. "Demon, bastard, you are a big bastard." Liu Xing smiled slightly and returned to the island of ghosts contentedly. Ghost Island. Compared with the joyous atmosphere of the previous 2 days, today is a scene of panic and anger. Liu Xing grabbed a minion at random and asked, "Did something happen while I was away?" The scoundrel first bowed down in fear, and then said, It's Jack. Lord Jack is back. Jack the Drow went to the outside world to make money for Liu Crossing. Could it be an accident? What happened? Mr. Jack was dragged back by 2 sharks. He was seriously injured and his lung tube was burned. Who did it? Liu Xing's voice suddenly became cold. It's no ordinary person who can make Jack the Drow hurt so badly. The other 4 emperors? Or the Marine Admiral? Or those hidden legendary powerhouses? The little boy said in a panicked voice. It was Marine Admiral Akainu who did it. Marine actually sent him to guard the gold in the sky. Seikeizuki Akainu. No wonder Jack's lung tube was directly burned. It turned out to be the cruel man Akainu. Although the 3 Admiral are comparable in strength, if they have to be divided, it is undoubtedly Akainu's strongest. Lava fruit is also known as the devil fruit with the strongest attack. Whitebeard's shock fruit is the most destructive. Liu Xing let go of the little one and went straight to his father-in-law Kaido's palace. Inside the palace, Fire Calamity Ember, Plague Calamity Quinn, Fuzzfu, Peggy 1 and other Flubao were all there. Jack the Drow was lying on the ground, covered in bandages, looking extremely weak. Quinn was treating Jack. Seeing Liu Xing coming, he wiped the sweat off his brain door and said, Jack, this unfortunate boy actually met Akainu, and the entire lung tube is not even slag left. Unless you replace it with a mechanical lung tube, your strength will be greatly affected in the future. In addition to creating biochemical viruses, Quinn is also good at mechanical technology. His left arm is the mechanical arm, the neck and tail in the state of Brachiosaurus, and it can even be separated. Damn Marine! Jack is Losey's big sign. Kaido roared angrily, and the ground cracked open. Even if Jack is replaced with a mechanical lung, it will definitely not be as good as the original one, and his strength will inevitably be affected. How can Kaido, who values his subordinates, not be angry? Liu Xing stepped forward and said, Don't get angry, father-in-law. I have a way to restore Jack's lung tube. Real? Kaido was overjoyed at first, then hesitant. Jack's lungs were completely melted by the magma. Quinn couldn't do anything about it. Son-in-law, you are not a doctor. Quinn said, Father-in-law, Jack's lungs are impossible to recover, so we can only replace them with mechanical lungs. Jin, Flubao and others also nodded in agreement. Even though the concubine has great magical powers and invented something comparable to devil fruit, like the monster cell, can it still be made out of nothing? Not always. A mysterious smile appeared on the corner of Liu Xing's mouth, and he said slowly, It's not difficult to create something out of nothing, as long as there are fairy beans. 38. Xiandou makes everything possible, seeking flower tickets. Fairy beans? Hearing this unfamiliar word, Kaido and others were full of question marks. What is that? A healing artifact, Liu Xing said as he walked towards the laboratory. When I make it, you'll know how it works. Leaving a look of doubt and expectation, Jack, who was lying on the ground, asked weakly, Brother Quinn, can fairy beans really restore my lungs? Ordinary people would have died long ago if their lungs were burned by magma. But Jack is his own, ancient species, mammoth form fruit ability, and his vitality is extremely tenacious. Quinn spread his hands. But since the concubine said so, it is definitely possible. Jack's eyes could not help but show incomparable anticipation. He doesn't care about any humiliation now, and only hopes that his future strength will not be affected. After a full day, Liu Xing returned to the palace. In his hand, he held a bag containing 3 small round pills. The more precious the item, the longer it takes to manufacture and the higher the manufacturing cost. Such as a fairy bean, the cost is more than 10 million Bailey. Is this the fairy bean? It's too small. Can Jack's lungs be born out of nothing? Even though they knew that Liu Xing couldn't lie, Jin, Flubao and others still showed suspicious expressions. Liu Xing didn't explain. He went straight to Jack and said, Open your mouth. Jack opened his mouth obediently. Liu Xing threw a fairy bean into his mouth. Everyone, including Kaido, stared at Jack closely, not blinking, for fear of missing a second. A miraculous scene appeared. I saw that the terrifying wound on Jack's abdomen healed quickly at a speed visible to the naked eye. The originally empty lungs in it also regret. This. Kaido's eyes widened in surprise. The expression under the Jin mask was full of amazement. The magic medicine that can instantly restore such a serious injury, even his race can't do it. Quinn, Flubao and others all admired him and said, Master Consort, you are too amazing. Is there anything else you can't invent? Drink. Jack, who was on the ground, suddenly let out a deep drink, tore off the bandage on his body, and stood up. An astonishing strong aura emanated from his body. Apparently, Jack is back to normal. Thump. Jack the Drow knelt down to Liu Xing's knees. With his status as a big kanban, even facing Kaido, there is no need to make such a big gift. But at the moment, bowing down to Liu Xing, he is sincere and willing. Many thanks to the concubine's kindness and virtue. The concubine will let me go through fire and water from now on, and Jack won't even frown. Liu Xing lifted Jack with both hands. Why so? You are the right-hand man of the father-in-law, and the mainstay of my beasts pirates. You are helping me. Jack was teary-eyed. The strong man who is more than 8 meters tall is moved like a child at this moment. There is no doubt that Jack's loyalty to Liu Xing will never be lower than Kaido's in the future. Kaido laughed and said, Son-in-law, with the fairy bin you invented, we will be able to fight more recklessly on the battlefield from now on. Xiandou can heal all injuries and pull people back from the gate of hell. Kaido's first thought was its military value. As we all know, Kaido's dream is to become One Piece, and at the same time he wants to start a world's top war. In war, people will inevitably die. With immortal bins, the casualty rate of the 100 beasts will undoubtedly be greatly reduced. At all costs, make more fairy beans. Kaido waved his hand and said boldly. Liu Xing replied, it's natural. But father-in-law, you should eat a fairy bean now. Kaido was stunned. Lucy is not injured again. As the strongest creature in the sea, land and air, Kaido's defense, resilience and vitality are beyond people's imagination. In terms of defense alone, perhaps only the steel balloon characteristics of the four emperors aren't surpassed him. In the original, although Kaido lost to the unreasonable sun god Fruit of Straw Hat Luffy, he had already experienced more than 10 rounds of wheel battles before that. If it's a heads-up, it's uncertain who will win. Therefore, there are only a handful of people in this world who can hurt Kaido. Liu Xing looked at the X-shaped scar on Kaido's abdomen. It was only then that everyone realized that the concubine was referring to the scars Kozuki-dan left on Kaido Boss more than 10 years ago. Fire Calamity said, the scar of Boss Kaido has been there for more than 10 years. It was left by Kozuki-dan with special means and cannot be treated. If it could be treated, the scars would have been healed long ago with Kaido's resilience and energy. Liu Xing said lightly, there are no scars in this world that Xiandou can't heal. Xiandou makes everything possible. Hearing what his son-in-law said, Kaido ate the fairy beans in disbelief. The strange scene appeared again. The X-shaped scar on Kaido's abdomen healed automatically in a blink of an eye. Kaido was overjoyed and overjoyed. The scars that have plagued Lucy for more than 10 years can be healed by your son-in-law. Son-in-law, as a father, I must reward you with something. Liu Xing said humbly, this is what the son-in-law should do. However, the son-in-law does have one thing now and wants to ask his father-in-law. What? Say it. Even if Liu Xing asked Kaido to go to Marine headquarters to grab something, Kaido would agree without hesitation. I'd like to ask my father-in-law to teach me Conqueror's twist. Liu Xing said seriously. 39. The Incredible Akainu, seeking flower tickets. Conqueror wants to learn Conqueror's winding. The three disasters and the Flyuan seem to have misheard their ears, with expressions of disbelief on their faces. Liu Xing rarely shows his strength in the 100 beasts. So even his father-in-law Kaido doesn't know the specific depth of Liu Crossing. After all, Liu Xing's philosophy is that if you can't do it, you can't do it. If you can let others do it, let others do it. He is an inventor. What's the point of fighting every day? However, Liu Xing still attaches great importance to his own strength. He cannot fight and kill, but he must not be weak, but must become the top wave of people in the world. That's why he wanted to ask his father-in-law, Kaido, to teach Conqueror's winding. Have you awakened Conquerors? Kaido looked at Liu Xing in shock. Liu Xing nodded slightly. Jin, Quinn, Jack, Fuzafu, and Peggy One all took a deep breath. Conqueror's haki, even in the new world where the strong are like clouds, there are very few awakened people. Even the Fire Calamity, who was born in the Lunaria family and known as the Son of God, does not possess Conquerors. In the 100 beasts, only Kaido and Yamato, who inherited Kaido's blood, are master Conqueror's haki. They never imagined that Liu Xing, the concubine Liu Xing, who was usually silent, had awakened this ability. After Kaido was surprised, he suddenly looked up to the sky and laughed, saying, good, good, good. Looking at Liu Xing again, he already looked at his successor. Before, although Kaido also valued Liu Xing very much, he never thought of making Liu Xing his heir. The biggest reason is that he thinks that Liu Xing does not have conquerors, and it is almost impossible to enter the ranks of the world's top powerhouses in the future. Therefore, even if his rebellious daughter, Yamato, made all kinds of diabolical acts, Kaido tolerated it and wanted Yamato to take his place. But now, Liu Xing also awakened conquerors, who has the potential to become a king, and his character and importance to the 100 beasts are far more than his daughter Yamato. Kaido naturally turned to Liu Xing as his successor without hesitation. Kaido said without reservation, Liu Xing, although you didn't eat devil fruit, you didn't eat monster cells, and you usually didn't even show your strength. But my father knows that you have always worked hard to cultivate, and in terms of haki alone, you are by no means weaker than Jin and the others. And haki is the most important factor to become a strong man. In contrast, the fruit ability is not important. Roger is not a strong person. Among the hakis, Conquerors is the most important. Only by mastering Conqueror's entanglement, can you be qualified to compete for the throne on the sea. Kaido patted Liu Xing on the shoulder. This most powerful creature, whose strength is terrifyingly powerful and makes countless people feel terrified, has a hint of kindness on his face at this moment, with the hope of becoming a dragon. Liu Xing, my father will do my best to make you master Conquerors entangled. I have to say that Kaido's sincere words were beyond Liu Xing's expectations, and even moved him a little. Although his cheap father-in-law is very cruel to the enemy and ordinary people, he is good for his subordinates, especially the people around him. Liu Xing bowed and said, "The youngest son-in-law will live up to his father-in-law's expectations." Kaido laughed. Okay. The surrounding three disasters and Fu Bao were shocked when they watched this scene. They knew that in the future, the real young master of the 100 beasts would probably change from Master Yamato to the concubine of Liu Crossing. Kaido really doesn't hide his secrets, and teaches him the secrets of Conqueror's entanglement. Liu Xing studied very seriously. Although Liu Xing knew that being beaten twice by his old father-in-law with a mace, he might be able to learn Conqueror's entanglement immediately, but Liu Xing still did not do that. Want a face? He came to the time-gravity room alone, took out the famous sword Yanmo obtained from Xiaozi, and practiced Conqueror's. 1 day of cultivation here is equivalent to a month in the outside world. Sakazuki sat bored on the marine warship. Since the last time he smashed the beast's pirate's ship with one punch, no one has dared to fight the idea of gold in the sky. After this escort mission, let's go back to marine headquarters. Akainu thought he was a decent admiral and couldn't stay out all the time. What's more, it would be overkill for Akainu to do this kind of escort task. A sailor suddenly ran over in a panic. Sakazuki Admiral, it's not good, the big thing is bad. Akainu's eyes lit up, stood up, and geared up. Are the pirates attacking? He was bored. Yes, Admiral, the sailor said out of breath, but not attacking us, but attacking a marine base far away from us. What did you say? Akainu's face suddenly became extremely gloomy. Which pirate group had a bear's heart and a leopard's skull and dared to do this? The old man is still in New World. The sailor said, it's the beast's pirates, and the leader is Jack the Drow who attacked us last time. Impossible. Akainu said angrily, Jack the Drow has already been killed by this old man, and the whole ship sank into the sea. How can he still be alive? Akainu made a great eruption and completely destroyed Jack's ship, seeing the latter fall into the sea with his own eyes. Demon fruit power falls into the sea, is it still dead? The sea soldier said with a sad face, I don't know why, but Jack the Drill did appear again, and here is the image from that base. Akainu took the videophone bug, and his pupils dilated at a glance. On the screen, the mammoth that is wreaking havoc on marine base, isn't it Jack the Drill? And when the giant mammoth turned into a human form, Akainu was even more astonished, like seeing a ghost. Because he found that Jack the Drow did not have any scars on his abdomen at all, and he did not look like he had undergone surgery. How can that be? Even if Jack the Drow was rescued from the bottom of the sea, his lungs were pierced by his magma, how could he still be safe? This is incredible. 40. Liu Xing is more threatening than the 4 emperors. Ask for a monthly pass. Kill all these marines. Jack the Drow is holding a scotel knife with murderous aura. With a wave of his hand, a sea soldier's head fell to the ground. Blood stained the ground of this marine base. Jack is taking revenge, avenging the last fiasco. After being completely healed by Liu Xing with fairy beans, he immediately left Wano Kuni to find Marine for revenge. If he doesn't do this, he will be Jack the Drow in the future, and he won't even be able to lift his head up. And this time, Jack also learned to be smart, no longer so iron-headed. He deliberately chose this marine base, far from Akainu, to attack, kill all marine. Jack's subordinates also held back their breath. They had been boosted by monster cells, and their strength was far greater than that of ordinary marines. Damn pirates. Damn Jack the Drow. Damn beast consort. The head of marine base here is Vice Admiral. Seeing the tragic state of his soldiers, he was deeply saddened and cursed. In the scolding, Liu Xing, who was not here, was also brought because he knew that the strength of the pirates of 100 beasts in front of him was so strong, all because of the monster cells invented by the concubine of the beasts. You bastard, who were you scolding just now? Jack the Drow heard the sound and walked towards the marine vice admiral, a pair of bull's eyes with a sinister murderous intent. What if Losey scolds you? The vice admiral scolded with a grim expression. Jack's eyes became colder, as if he was looking at a dead person. No, I just heard you scolding the concubine. This is an unforgivable death penalty. The voice fell. Jack swung his knife sharply, and 2 huge sword beams slashed out. The vice admiral hurriedly raised his knife to block, but it was too late. His body was directly cut into 4 pieces by 2 huge sword beams, and blood was sprinkled everywhere like a fountain. Jack's expression didn't change, just said coldly, whoever insults the concubine, die. Here, Vice Admiral, the strongest branch of the marine base, died, and the other marines struggled in vain, and were quickly annihilated by Jack's subordinates. Get all the treasure on board and we'll get out of here to the next marine base. Jack waved his hand and ordered. A small boy suddenly ran over and said anxiously, Mr. Jack. Billy was besieged by several marine branch rear admiral and was seriously injured. Where is it? Take me to see it. Jack followed the little guy and came to Billy. Billy was not only seriously injured, he even broke his left leg, which is equivalent to a disability. If in the past, in such a situation, Jack would not hesitate to abandon Billy. After all, the crippled people have no benefit to the 100 beasts. They will only be a drag. But now, Jack won't do that. He took out a small green pill from his pocket and said to Billy, take it. Billy swallowed. An incredible scene appeared in the next second. I saw that Billy's lost left leg actually grew out a little bit, and soon returned to normal. Simply miraculous. The pirates around were stunned, and their jaws were about to fall. Billy fell to his knees, grateful. Thank you, Lord Jack, for the medicine. Jack said lightly. Kaido's. It's not me that you should thank, but the concubine you are crossing. This fairy bin is the invention of the concubine. Billy kowtowed 3 times in Wanokune's direction and burst into tears. At this moment, even if he were asked to die for Xing, he would not hesitate. Okay, get out of here quickly, or Akainu will come. As Jack spoke, he instructed his men to quickly move the treasure onto the boat. Billy stood up and wiped away his tears, thinking to himself, Billy, just gave me the bottom of the empowered legion. It was the concubine who gave me the first freak cell to make me a real fight. The fairy bins invented by the concubine this time are equivalent to saving my life. This kind of great kindness and virtue, I will repay it with death in the future. Akainu arrived a few hours later and the daylilies were called. Seeing Marine's body all over the floor, Akainu was furious. Jack the Drow, just pray that you don't run into the old man again, or the old man will definitely let you have a taste of the magma bath. The furious Akainu wants to kill Wanokume now. Sakazuki Admiral, there are still people alive. Akainu hurriedly looked at it. It was a captain of the Marine branch, and he was only breathing. The military doctor next to him was carrying out emergency treatment. After a long time, the branch captain struggled to open his eyes. Akainu hurriedly asked, do you know where Jack the Drow and the others are going? The captain shook his head and said weakly, I don't know, but I have important information to report. What? The concubine of the beasts invented a medicine called a mortal bin, which can regenerate a severed limb. Those pirates also said that no matter how serious the injury was, as long as you eat a mortal bin, you can fully recover immediately. What? Twice what? Once in doubt, once in shock. Even the well-informed Akainu had to be shocked. Rebirth from a severed limb, no matter how many injuries can be instantly healed. Is there such a medicine in this world? Akainu couldn't believe it, and then suddenly realized that Jack the Drow, who had been pierced through his lungs before, should have been recovered by the fairy beans. For no apparent reason, Akainu had a creepy feeling on his back. He is not afraid of fighting people, even if Kaido of the beasts is here. He dares to challenge each other, and even let Kaido taste his power. But, thinking of the mysterious concubine of beasts, he felt an unprecedented powerlessness. That person is extremely mysterious, and no one in the outside world has ever seen his true face. First, the monster cell was invented, which greatly increased the combat power of the beast group, making Dr. Vegapunk feel ashamed. Now what fairy bin has been invented, which can heal all the wounds in the world? Really creepy. At this time, Akainu finally understood why the 5 elders personally ordered to issue a reward of up to 1.5 billion Baileys to Xing, the concubine of the beasts. Because, that person's invention has already surpassed the 4 emperors' threat to the world government. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this and join my Patreon if you want to support me. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.